Vilapa, which is also composed by Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur. So we will recite this bhajan first. We'll sing this bhajan. Je ānilo prema-dhana karuna pracur. Je ānilo prema-dhana karuna pracur. Heno prabhu kothā gelā ācārya-t kāhā mora swarup rupa kāhā sanata kāhā dasa raghunatha patita-pāvan kāhā mora bhata-yuga kāhā kavira eka-kāle kothā gelā gaurā-natara Pāśane kutibo matha ānile pashibo Pāśane kutibo matha ānile pashibo Gauranga gunera nidhi kothā gelā prabhu se-saba saṅgira saṅge je-kailo vilā se-saba saṅgira saṅge je-kailo vilā se-sańga na eka-kāle Narottamadāsa je ānilo prema-dhana karuna pracur heno prabhu kothā gelā ācārya-t. Narottamadāsa Thakur composed this song when two of his most intimate devotee friends, acharyas, Srila Srinivas Acharya and Srila Ramchandra Kaviraj Goswami, they disappeared. So in their separation, Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur composed this song. And all these songs of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur, I was reading, I have read it before also many times, but again today in the morning, I was reading one of the purports of Srila Prabhupada. And in that purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions about the compositions of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. One second. This is first canto, 10th chapter, which is departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarika. And in this it is being mentioned that when Krishna was leaving Dwarika, were leaving for Dwarika from Hastinapur, the ladies, they went to send off Krishna on the roof of their houses in Hastinapur. And they were so much absorbed in thoughts and actions of Krishna. So whatever they spoke, their talks are said to be more advanced in glorification of the Lord than the Vedic literature. So there Prabhupada is mentioning that in the Bhagavad-gītā it is said that in all the Vedic literature, the goal is the personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Factually, the glories of the Lord are depicted in such literature as the Vedas, Rāmāyaṇa and Mahābhārata. And in the Bhagavatam, there are specifically mentioned in respect to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, while the ladies on the tops of the houses in the capital of the kings of the Kuru dynasty were talking about the Lord, their talk was more pleasing than the Vedic hymns. Anything sung in praise of the Lord is śruti-mantra. This is the point. What is śruti-mantra? It is glorification of the Lord. There are the songs of Ṭhākura Narottamadāsa, one of the acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, composed in simple Bengali language. But Ṭhākura Viśvanātha Cakravartī, another very learned acharya of the same Sampradaya, has approved the songs by Ṭhākura Narottamadāsa to be as good as Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is the material, but the subject matter is important. So all these compositions of our acharyas, especially Prabhupada talks about two acharyas, Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur and Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you see in our ISKCON movement, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the songs of these two acharyas are very much part of our process of devotional practice and devotional service both. Why? Because these songs which are composed by these acharyas, they are the essence of all the Vedic literatures. In just one song, the entire essence of the scripture is given by these acharyas. And Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur is so much empowered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread his Sankirtan movement that Mahaprabhu anxiously waited for the appearance of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur. I have very less time. I will not be able to do justice to the life teaching, instructions and the inspiration of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur's life in just say 40-45 minutes. So I will take some sections by mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Few times I have had the opportunity to speak on the glorious contributions of Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur. So Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur's appearance is also very transcendental. Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. His appearance and his activities are both uncommon. Why? Because it is on the transcendental platform. Same is with his associates, with his pure devotees, his Nitya Siddha Parikar. So he appears in the same year, Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur's appearance is in the same year as is the year of disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how is it so? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his sampradaya, his parampara to be continued, his legacy to be continued by none other than this great stalwart acharya, Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur. And he appears in East Bengal, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already toured. He appears in East Bengal. And he also appears in a very opulent royal family. Although he is not born in a Brahmana community, he is born in a Kayastha community. You see both the acharyas, Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur and Śrī Kedarnath Datta. That is Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Both of them did not appear in the Brahmanical community. Why? Because Mahaprabhu wanted to prove this principle. Kiba vipra kiba nyasi shudra keno noy jai Krishna tattvaveta sei guru hoy. And Narottamadāsa Thakur, from his birth, he had special inclination and interest in Gaur Katha, in Krishna Katha. He was not interested in either crying like a child. He never cried. Neither he was interested in playing. You see today's child, all the time they're crying. Why? Because they want to play. If you restrict their play, they will cry. They only know two things, playing and crying. But the acharyas, they are completely different. So, the life of Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur was evolved around his palace. His parents did not allow him to go outside. Because on his birth, this was the forecast that if he goes out of the house and if he approaches the river which was there in his town, which was Padma river, then he will not come back. And he was the only son of the very, very influential landlord. So there was always a guard around him, a web around him. But he had the opportunity to meet and hear from some of the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He heard from Krishnadas Babaji, who had met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Krishnadas Babaji came to his town, which was Kheturi, that was the place where Narottamadāsa Thakur was born. So he would, as a child, as a small child, his favorite interest and play was to hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and their associates, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. So in his childhood, he grew up by hearing the glories and the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. And in his heart, he had only one desire. And that desire was to have association of the Lord. So once he asked Krishnadas Babaji that, where can I go and meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He was just an infant, 3 or 4 years old. Whether Mahaprabhu is in Navdeep, or he is in Puri, or he is in Vrindavan. Where should I run to reach and meet and have the audience of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj remained silent. And then he very softly spoke that you can only meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in your meditation. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already wound up his earthly pastime and returned back to the spiritual world. So when the child, his name was Naru, he was named Naru, when he heard that in his life he had no opportunity to have audience of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very much heartbroken and he cried profusely. Entire night and day and night he used to cry that why he got the birth only after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him. And Nityananda Prabhu consoled him and said that do not worry, Naru, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already made all elaborate arrangements for you. And Nityananda Prabhu told him to go and take bath in the Padma river. And then because there was so much of guarding around him, one night when there was very heavy rainfall, so he slipped from the house. He went to the roof and from the roof he jumped to reach Padma river. And you know the story. In the Padma river, the personality of Padma river herself manifested and handed over that golden lotus which was given to her by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was none other than that, the love of the Supreme Lord. And when Naru receives that golden lotus converts into a golden boy. And that golden boy starts to circle and dance and enters into the heart of Naru. And Naru is completely transformed. From his dark complexion, he transforms into golden complexion. So in this way, in his childhood, he receives the oceanic love of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he also receives the audience of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu guides him to go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. And then you know the story, the great escape, how he escapes. He runs in the dead of night for many, many sleepless nights from the very dense forest ways so that he could not be caught. Without sleep, without any food, without any shelter, he continues to run and finally reaches Mathura. And when he reaches Mathura, he comes to know that Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami both have departed. Just imagine, running from where? From Kheturi, coming till Mathura. Even more distance than what was travelled by Sripad Madhavendra Puri. And he is completely heartbroken when he comes to know that he cannot even have the audience. First, he missed the audience of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And now when he comes to Vrajabhumi, he comes to know that Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami has departed. So on the banks of Yamuna, he falls unconscious. And when he falls unconscious, one Brahmana comes to take care of him, takes him to his house. And in that night, Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami appears to him and consoles him that you have a mission to complete of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they guide them to go and take shelter of Srila Jiva Goswami. That is how he comes to Vrajabhumi, he comes to Vrindavan, he comes to Srila Govind Dev Ji's temple. That was the epicenter of all Vaishnava activities. And at that time, Srila Jiva Goswami was the ācārya. So he takes shelter of Srila Jiva Goswami. And from his childhood, he had heard about the renunciation and detachment of Srila Lokanath Goswami. And in his heart, he had the inspiration to become the disciple of Srila Lokanath Goswami. And you know, Lokanath Goswami was so detached and so renounced, and utterly such humility he had in his heart that he did not consider himself qualified to accept any disciple. So he flatly refuses. He says, I have taken a vow that I will not accept anyone. And he says, what is the need for you to become my disciple? You are already the disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why you want to become my disciple? What is the purpose of becoming a disciple? The purpose of becoming a disciple is to receive the favor of the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord has personally bestowed the highest favor to you by bestowing you the love of the Supreme Lord. So why do you need a spiritual master? So Srila Lokanath Goswami in a way tests him. There's a very beautiful conversation between Srila Lokanath Goswami and that aspect. Okay, I'll find out. I'll read that. There is one book which is written by Śrīla Mataji. She is Srila Prabhupada's disciple. And she is the good wife of Sri Harishwari Prabhu. You know Harishwari Prabhu? Are you all familiar? Some of you? Who is Harishwari Prabhu? बोलो जानते हो नहीं जानते हो? Who is Harishwari Prabhu? Harishwari Prabhu was the personal assistant and servant of Srila Prabhupada for many, many years. He served Prabhupada very, very intimately, very closely. And his good wife is Shitala Mataji. And Shitala Mataji, when they were in Vrindavan, she was working for the institutes. She was working for the Gaudiya Institute. And she translated some of the Acharya's book. And there she read the biography of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. And she was very much inspired to give this biography. So she did research for more than 10 years on the life of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. And then she gave this book. And somehow one of my good friend is Ukrainian born. Many, many years back, he gifted me this book. And by his mercy, I had the opportunity to read this book a few times. And here, there are many, many details mentioned about the glorious life of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. This is the first meeting of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur with Srila Lokanath Goswami. When Narottamadāsa Thakur came to Vraj, he took shelter of Srila Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami introduced him to Srila Lokanath Goswami. Lokanath Goswami stayed in a secluded place. Vivikta Desha Sevatvam. He was completely detached. And after the departure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was so much in separation that he would not meet anyone. But of course, Srila Jiva Goswami was the greatest Vaishnava at that time and the Acharya of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So when Narottamadāsa Thakur was taken by Srila Jiva Goswami to Lokanath Goswami, so Lokanath Goswami agreed to meet. Srila Jiva Goswami took Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur to meet Lokanath Goswami. Narottam asked Srila Jiva Goswami, Sri Lokanath has entered my heart and made me his servant. I am completely sold out to him. Do you think he will accept me as his disciple? This is Narottamadāsa Thakur, very submissively inquiring from Srila Jiva Goswami. Sri Jiva shook his head sadly. I am afraid not. He has taken a vow not to accept disciples. In fact, he rarely even talks with anyone. Narottam's heart sank, but he stirred. I have already accepted him as my spiritual master. He looked pleadingly at Sri Jiva. Please, could I meet him? Yes, of course, Srila Jiva Goswami said. He stepped into the clearing and bowed at Lokanath's feet. Softly, he announced, the son of King of Kheturi, Narottam, has just arrived from Bengal. So this is Jiva Goswami mentioning to Srila Lokanath Goswami. Srila Lokanath looked up from his meditation and glanced at Narottam, who was still standing in the bushes. See the etiquette. He did not enter the place of bhajan of Srila Lokanath Goswami. He was standing outside. Only Jiva Goswami entered. Narottam hesitantly stepped forward and fell at Lokanath's feet. Srila Jiva Goswami said, this young boy's acute renunciation and devotion are inconceivable. He reminds me of Mahaprabhu with his golden complexion and trembling body. Loknath Goswami smiled brightly at Narottam, tears swelling in his eyes. I knew you would come. It was revealed to me in a dream last night. So Loknath Goswami is acknowledging that he already knew that Narottam is coming. And how did he knew? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appeared in the dream and told Loknath Goswami that my sincere devotee will come to you to take your shelter. Please accept him as your disciple. That is the glorious position of Śrīla Narottamadāsa Thakur. His recommendation was made for initiation by none other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. But see the response. Narottam's hair stood on end. To be in the presence of Srila Loknath Goswami was overwhelming. Narottam knelt before the saint, trembling and speechless. Srila Jiva invited Loknath to take prasad with them at the Govindji Mandir, and to Narottam's delight, Sri Loknath Goswami agreed. Walking behind the two stalwart devotees, Narottam marveled. Can this truly be happening? Will I wake up in a moment and find myself back in my father's palace in Khethuri? For many years, I listened to stories about the great saints, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate. I spent hours imagining how they looked and how they walked and how they talked about. I used to cry, wondering when I would get the chance to see these devotees. Now I am here, walking behind the exalted Acharya, Sri Jiva Goswami, nephew of Srila Rupa and Sanatan, the powerful leader of Sri Chaitanya's movement. He must surely be one of the greatest philosophers of all time. He actually went on parikrama of Navadvip with Lord Nityananda himself. He personally talked to and walked next to Nityananda Prabhu. Narottam bent down to scoop up some of the dust from the footprints of these two great souls. He shivered in ecstasy, and as he sprinkled on his head, thinking Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually embraced Sri Loknath Goswami with his own arms. These devotees are players in the great epic of Sri Chaitanya's transcendental Leela. And here I am, the most fallen, insignificant soul, stumbling along behind them. See the consciousness level of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. When they arrived back at Govindji Mandir, 3 seats were arranged for them to take prasad together. Narottam didn't feel qualified to eat with these two great personalities. So he hesitated to sit down. But Sri Jiva motioned to him, insisting that Narottam join them. During the meal, Srila Jiva asked Narottam to tell Sri Loknath Goswami how he came to Vrindavan. Shylily, Narottam related how he had received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Padmavati Devi. Concluding his story, he said, actually, I have no right to sit with you and eat prasad. I do not even have a guru. See how Daksha or expert is Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. What is the reason of his disqualification? He is saying that I have still not become a disciple. To Narottam's surprise, Loknath Goswami laughed heartily at this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Guru of the universe, has personally given you divine love. The same love most devotees pray to attain their entire lives. What more do you want? What is the value of having another Guru? Prabhu, Narottam said humbly, if you permit me, I would like to explain why I wanted to be initiated and why it is you that I want as my spiritual master. So Narottamadāsa Thakur got the opportunity. Loknath nodded, encouraging him to speak. It is true that Mahaprabhu is the only real Guru, but it is the order that I take initiation from you. So Mahaprabhu had already appeared, as I said. Just 1 minute, important call. Hare Krishna, sorry. So as Mahaprabhu had appeared, Mahaprabhu revealed to him personally that when you go to Vraj, you take shelter of Srila Loknath Goswami. And Mahaprabhu also all the Lord associates and followers also accepted spiritual masters. Very Hare Krishna. So Sri Narottamadāsa Thakur is speaking his heart and his understanding. He says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master of the whole world. Still, the Lord himself set the example of accepting a spiritual master. And all of the Lord's associates and followers also accepted spiritual masters. The spiritual master's orders are the life and soul of the disciple. Simply by following the spiritual master's order, a disciple attains all perfection. A guru guides his disciple in practical spiritual life. I have no guru. So who will guide me on the path of devotion? Unless one serves a pure devotee, he cannot attain liberation by directly serving Krishna. This is the heartfelt realization of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. He must serve the servant of Krishna who has ever been elevated without rendering service to a pure Vaishnava. Yes, Loknath replied. Certainly a guru is required, but one must find a qualified guru. I cannot even become a devotee myself, so how can I help you? Please, Prabhu, Narottam begged. People call me a prince, but actually I am a beggar. I have renounced the world and have come to you here in the hope of finding Krishna. I am like a ship without a rudder. I am not able to find the path along which I should travel. It's not possible to find Krishna without the mercy of the Guru. Loknath waved his hand dismissively and said, the scriptures recommend that for an aspiring disciple, chant the holy names of Krishna for at least 1 year before he is eligible for initiation. This is the first test. So Loknath Goswami did not agree, but he gave the principle. Narottam nodded, saying no more. He accepted within his heart the first order of his spiritual master. And for 1 year, he very sincerely chanted more than 1 lakh names every day. That is more than 64 rounds. One more incident of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur I want to narrate. Normally in the temple class, I cannot give such details or speak like this. But for my own relishment and to share with you such details. So, Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur, he took initiation finally from Loknath Goswami. And you know how he changed and transformed the heart of Srila Loknath Goswami? By offering very menial services. He used to go and clean the place where Loknath Goswami used to attend his nature's call. Just imagine. The son of a king, prince, he would go and clean. It was not even a toilet. In the toilet, you don't have the refuse left because it is already flushed out. But this was open area, open land. And when Loknath Goswami saw him doing this service, his heart melted. And he accepted Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur as his disciple. And Narottamadāsa Thakur, along with 2 other of his friends and batchmate at the school of Srila Jiva Goswami, they were all studying together under the guidance of Srila Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was the Shiksha Guru. Narottamadāsa Thakur was the disciple of Srila Loknath Goswami. Srila Srinivasa Acharya was the disciple of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami and Srila Ramchandra Kaviraj. So all 3, they were studying. Oh, sorry, no, not Ramchandra Kaviraj. Shri Shyamanand Pandit. Shyamanand Pandit. Shyamanand Pandit came from Bengal. He was the disciple of Hriday Chaitanya. Ambika Kalna he came from. And they were all studying. And one day, Srila Srinivasa Acharya and Narottamadaasa Thakur, they were doing Govardhan Parikrama while they were in Vraj. So I will recite that incidence of meeting at Govardhan Hill. Srinivas and Narottam sprinkled a few drops of water from the sacred Kusum Sarovar. So when we do parikrama of Govardhan Hill, there are many, starting points. One of the starting point is Kusum Sarovar. Some devotees end there, some devotees start there. So Narottamadaasa Thakur and Srila Srinivasa Acharya started from there, from Kusum Sarovar. You remember Kusum Sarovar? Every year we go to Kusum Sarovar while we do the parikrama of Giriraj. Hopefully we'll go this year also. Srimati Radharani and her Sakhis used to pick flowers along these banks, Srinivas said. Narottam stood silently for a few minutes, drinking in the beauty of the spot. Come, let's carry on, Srinivas said. Walking back towards the parikrama path, soon we'll be able to see Govardhan Hill. Revealing in each other's company, the 2 friends headed southwards towards Manasi Ganga. Over the years, Narottam and Srinivas had become practically inseparable. They studied together, chanted together, and relished the peaceful atmosphere of the holy Dham together. Rounding in a slight bend in the path, they caught sight of the lustrous reddish-brown rocks of Govardhan Hill. Abruptly rising from the flat expanse, both immediately fell to the ground to offer their respects. Then sitting up on their knees, they stared with awe in the sacred hill. A warm, rich glow seemed to radiate from the stones. This is when these acharyas do parikrama. Just hear very attentively. Srinivas reflected, Krishna is so protective of his devotees. He picked up this hill with one hand, just as a child plucks a mushroom. Then he held it over all the Vrajvasis like a great umbrella, shielding them from Indra's torrents of rain. Narottam nodded yes. And even though the rains of death poured all around them, the Vrajvasis and their cows were not disturbed. They had complete faith that Krishna will protect them. Srinivas and Narottam continued walking, each one silently relishing the atmosphere. The only sounds to be heard were the cries of peacocks and chirping of parrots and the cooing of pigeons. Sometimes they heard a drum or gong in the distance on the occasional Radhe Sham. Group of monkeys scampered across their path every now and then. This you can still experience. If you don't experience anything else, this one thing you can experience. What is that? Group of monkeys. I was doing parikrama few days back when I went to Govardhan in the morning, very early morning hours. There also I saw so many monkeys. These what these acharyas saw, of course, I had no opportunity to see. But we saw a group of monkeys all over, scampered across their path every now and then. And once a herd of white cows, decorated with red sindoor handprints, passed them. Stirring up the dust occasionally, they shared the path with village women, carrying baskets filled with cow dung patties. Still you can see that. Some of the Vrajvasis, Matajis, carrying cow dung patties. When Lord Krishna was here in Vrindavan, Srinivas said, breaking their silence, Govardhan Hill was 24 miles high. Now it is less than 100 feet because of Pulas Muni's curse. Every day the hill sinks into the earth by the measurement of one mustard seed. Narottam looked at the sacred hill, calculating how this curse was affecting the hill now and into the future. The time may come, he said, when Govardhan Hill will no longer be visible to the unfortunate people of the world. So it's a great privilege, it's a great fortune during Kartik to have the opportunity to go to Vrajbhumi and have darshan of Govardhan Hill, because this will not remain here forever. Very few years that Govardhan Hill will be visible. It was known since then. So Govardhan Hill will no longer be visible to the unfortunate people of this world. Srinivas nodded and was about to reply, but their discussion was interrupted by the sound of the most enchanting music. Both stopped abruptly, listening intently. The extraordinary sound made Narottam light-headed, and he almost lost his balance. What is it? He gasped. I have never heard anything so beautiful. Spellbound, Srinivas whispered, it's a flute, but not an ordinary flute. Narottam nodded. I think it's coming from that cave over there. Dawned by the mesmerizing music, as they stepped through the cave's mouth, they were overwhelmed by the fragrance. So extraordinarily sweet and intoxicating, both of them fainted. When Narottam came to a charming cowherd boy was standing before him. The boy held a herding stick and wore a colorful turban. Narottam looked in astonishment at the boy. and then turned to Srinivas to make sure he wasn't dreaming. Srinivas was as stunned as Narottama. The two boys sat up, and Srinivas managed to murmur, "My dear boy, who are you? What are you doing here?" The boy smiled enigmatically and gently replied, "I have come to protect you too. You aren't aware of the many dangers here, but we cowherd boys know everything about these hills and forest. From the distance, I saw you lying on the ground unconscious. So I left my friends and quickly came here. I have been standing here for a long time, waiting for you to wake up. I am relieved to see that you are all right. Now I will return to the pastures." The boy then turned and swiftly disappeared. "Where did he go?" Narottam grasped. "He went outside," Srinivas said. Scrambling towards the cave's entrance, Narottam was close to his heels, hoping to catch the mysterious cowherd boy. They searched frantically in every direction, but the boy seemed to have vanished. Finally, exhausted, Narottam and Srinivas dropped down in the shade of a large neem tree, where they sat in stunned silence for several long minutes. Narottam broke their silence with a whisper. His voice was quivering as he spoke. That boy, he was no ordinary cowherd boy. The sound of the flute, the wonderful fragrance. Srinivas nodded rigorously. He put words to what Narottam was hardly daring to think. That must have been Krishna. They had truly heard the sound of Krishna's flute. That same sound that had driven the cows, deer, and trees of Vrindavan mad with joy. The same sound that had forced Anantadev to sway in ecstasy as he held all the planets on his 1,000 hoods. The same sound that has astonished Brahma as he sat on his lotus flower, creating the universe. Had they actually heard that same flute song with their own ears, and that extraordinary fragrance, like a delicate lotus flower sprinkled with camphor, could it have been the sweet scent of the Supreme Lord's transcendental body? Narottam and Srinivas trembled in ecstasy, and tears flowed from their eyes. Both of them felt certain they had indeed seen the Lord of their life face to face. Their hearts soared in happiness. This is their Vrindavan Parikrama. When they did Parikrama, Krishna was waiting to meet them. And we also know that Srimati Radharani also appeared to Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur and gave him very personal service of boiling the milk for Krishna and assisting her Sakhis. And when their training is over, you see, these acharyas, they took training. Such personal associates of the Lord, they also show by their life and character that how much education and training is necessary. So when their training was complete, so they were sent to preach. Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur was sent to Kheturi. Srinivasa Acharya was sent to some other parts of Bengal, Vana Vishnupur, and Srila Shyamanand Pandit was asked to go to Odisha and preach. And they returned. And Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur is also the pioneer of celebrating the first Gaur Purnima festival. The Gaur Purnima festival celebration, as we have in the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage, the first Gaur Purnima festival was celebrated under the leadership of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur. No, it is already 9. I wanted to share that part also. So Narottamadāsa Thakur, he had such a melodious voice. And when he used to perform kirtan, his kirtan was so pure and so powerful that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to appear. And Mahaprabhu used to dance in ecstasy. And when Mahaprabhu appears, all of his associates, Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, Srivas Pandit, Vakreshwar Pandit, all his associates appeared. And they all danced hand in hand while Narottamadāsa Thakur was reciting the kirtan. And as the kirtan reached the crescendo, everyone began to dance. Everyone had the opportunity to have audience of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu selected Narottamadāsa Thakur to spread his Sankirtan movement. He is the Sankirtan Acharya. And throughout his life, he did so much of struggle to spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. Some other time we will discuss that. So from the life of Srila Narottamadāsa Thakur, very important teachings. Most important teaching is that however advanced a devotee might be, but he has to accept a spiritual master. He has to accept training and guidance from the spiritual master. Then only he can come to the path of perfection. And how he carried out the instruction of the spiritual master in his life is very, very glorious. So I'll stop here. While we do Govardhan Parikrama, this one meditation we can have. This hill is not different from Krishna. This is the same hill where Krishna played with Balaram and his cowherd friends. And he is still performing his pastimes there. And if we have really intently the desire to have his audience, some of you might be fortunate to hear his flute. As we see, Narottamadāsa Thakur and Srinivasa Acharya, they were captivated by the sound. They were caught. They were dragged by the sound of the flute. So many, many glorious contributions are there by Narottamadāsa Thakur, but the most glorious contribution are his compositions, are his songs. Two of his compositions, one is called Prarthana. Srila Prabhupada has selected so many of his songs. And the second is Prem Bhakti Chandrika. If you see our ISKCON programs, so every day we do Guru Puja. So that Guru Puja Shri Guru Charana Padma Keval. That is from that is composition of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur. And Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo More. Every day we recite that song. That is also from Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur. So practically for every occasion we have the song of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur. And the composition of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur, as Srila Prabhupada is saying, is not different from the śruti-mantras. So in short, I just shared one or two incidents of the life of Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur. So we should pray. We should pray from our heart to Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur to have devotion, dedication, and the spirit of service as he demonstrated from his life. Śrī Narottamadāsa Thakur, Tirubhakti Mahamotsav ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Any one of you wants to glorify Narottamadāsa Thakur or say something? Are you able to hear me? Hare Krishna.